This week's assignment in photography will be food photography. Um, this week's shooting assignment will be to demonstrate your ability to use lighting and camera angles to create appetizing images of the food that you eat. Your task is to use your cell phone to take a picture of your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. That's a total of 3 images. The criteria for this is that each picture must have good lighting. Please do not use the flash on your phone. And the image should be original and not from Google. So, the first thing to remember when taking food photography is to not get so close to the food that you're not sure what it is anymore. The image on the right is an example of a photograph taken of cornflakes that is way too close. Here is an example taken by a student in my photography class of the same subject, just at a better angle and not so close. Number 2, food photos need to be bright and light, but not in direct sun. Here is an example of the same image altered in Photoshop. Of course, that brightens the image, so it looks much better, much more appetizing. There are other things that are wrong with this image, but lighting is not it. Number 3, it is difficult to take pictures of food at night in with artificial lighting using flash or anything of that nature. It's difficult. It's not impossible, but it is difficult. This PowerPoint includes a link to tips for simple food photography using indoor light. Here is an example that a student took in my photography class of indoor lighting using artificial lighting in her kitchen of her mom's meal for the evening. Natural light makes food look the most delicious. Here is an example that a student took at our high school. It is an example of the fruit offerings of our cafeteria. The student brought in a white plate because food looks great on a white plate, and silverware, and a cup. Side light from a window is always nice. Here is an example where a student also used food offered at our cafeteria to and the window to get that side lighting. The student brought in a tray, silverware, and a glass. Number 6, food looks much better on or in white dishes. I think I mentioned that before. Here is a student example from my photography class of a meal that she had placed into a white dish. Number 7, be careful of using portrait mode too much. Portrait mode offers you a really cool blurry background effect, but it can go too far and your food can end up looking like mush. So we want to limit the use of portrait mode. As a matter of fact, I wouldn't use it at all for this assignment because it just gets in the way. Number 8, fill up most of the frame with the food. The food should take up more than half of the space of the picture. This example, the food only takes up about 1/4 or 1/3 of the entire picture. So that's a lot of empty space, and it doesn't have any kind of decoration around it, like napkins or glasses or anything. It's just a lot of empty space. So we don't want the empty space. We want it filled with your subject. Here is an example where the food takes up more than 50% of the space on the picture. It looks much more appetizing and it really makes you want to just dive in and see what that might taste like. Action in food photography is good. So, action means pouring, stirring, mixing, cutting, spooning, anything of that nature always looks good. Here is a student example of DHS lunch where she's pouring the dressing onto the salad. Now, the student did bring in the silverware, the bowl, and the little pitcher to pour the salad dressing out of, but it's that action that makes it look most appetizing. Here is another example of breakfast that was served at Dearborn High School, and you see the student pouring the syrup from above to create an interesting composition. And finally, number 10, the only way to get better at taking photos of food is to just take a lot of photos of food. So, in with this presentation, I have several links to additional videos that will help you with lighting, how to use your cell phone to take pictures, angles, using natural light versus using artificial light. So you can click any of those links in this PowerPoint to get more information so that you can do the very best you can with this assignment. So just to recap, your assignment is to demonstrate your ability to use lighting and camera angle to create appetizing food photography. Your task is to use your cell phone to take a picture of your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. That's a total of 3 images that you'll be turning in. The criteria is that each picture must have good lighting. Do not use the flash on your phone. It makes it look horrible, absolutely horrible. The image should be original and not from Google. Even your horrible image with the flash is better than taking a picture from Google. Please do your own. Yours is better than anything you'll be able to find. So now, here are more student examples from my photography students in semesters past. Some of these images were taken at the student's home, and some were taken at school. This is an example that was taken on the ground outside of the cafeteria. This appetizing image was taken on the floor in L Hall. And this was taken in the student courtyard, the lunch courtyard. So 10 things to remember when photographing food. Don't get too close. Photos need to be light and bright. It's not easy to photograph at night using the overhead lights in your kitchen, but you can do it. Natural light makes food look the most delicious. Side light from a window is nice. Food looks much better in or on clean white dishes. There is there is a such thing as too much portrait mode. Fill up most of the frame with the food. Action in food photos is good, and the only way to get better at taking photos of food is to just keep taking photos of food. So, when for this assignment, I really want you to take as many pictures as possible. We have breakfast, lunch, and dinner several times during the week. Just take out your phone and take a great shot. I look forward to seeing what you come up with.